show you what we do coverage-wise out of this. And we are probably 50, 60, 65, 70%, somewhere in there, 60, 70%, 3 deep. And but we're going to align in a two deep alignment. And remember why? Number one, it disguises the angle of our front. And so they've got to account for the fact that either linebacker could come, because we can roll that coverage in any manner of ways. And secondly, it disguises our coverage, because out of that look, you can roll the 3 deep strong with corner force, 3 deep strong with safety support, 3 deep weak with corner support, 3 deep weak with safety support. You can bring 5 linebackers or 5 guys up front and play man with a free safety. You can drop 8, and I'm going to go over some of these things that we're going to do. And basically, what I want to show you is the structure and some of the things that we can do out of it. And as I mentioned, I think the strength of it is the flexibility. But what we're going to do is regardless of what formation, and I drew up 3 formations here against each of these coverages so that you can see, regardless of the way that you're going to roll the coverage, the important thing for you as a coach is that the alignment should always look the same. Now, the other thing that I would mention is this, that our corners, there's a lot of times where we will press them on the line of scrimmage and play right from there. And if he's primary, or if we're rolling the coverage the other way, we'll take him and turn him on the snap and run him to the deep third. It is no different than, if you press a guy right here on the line of scrimmage, give him the deep third. If he's a decent athlete and he knows before the ball is snapped that he's coming out of there, if he has good footwork and opens his hips and turns and runs, it's no different than if he broke his cushion down. It just happened awful fast. He can still defend the deep third, and the thing that you have to do if you're going to teach that corner to turn and run, and what we call a bail technique, now there's no margin for error. I mean, as he comes out of there, he's on the line of scrimmage. When he turns and runs, then he can't be guessing whether the quarterback's going to throw the outcut. I mean, he's got to come out of there with the idea that he's got a long way to go to the deep third. Because if he isn't coached to come out of there, and he stutters right here, that quarterback pumps the ball, you're going to give up a big play. So the key for us is we're going to bail him. Number one, get my hips out of the way so that I am in a sprint on my second step. I want to maintain outs. I want to maintain width on 2, just like I would if I were backing out playing a back pedal technique. And I think the thing that I'm seeing more, and I'm starting to believe, I've always been a back pedal guy that believed in the back pedal, but I'm changing there. I think that in most cases, a guy that can run is going to get you turned anyway, and the transition from the back pedal to the forward movement, I don't care how you coach it, unless you get those guys pro football, you don't have many guys that can really give you that kind of break, which I think you can get if you're turned and run. So that's where we're going. Now, we want to coordinate the front with the coverage. So now bolt for us is a strong zone. So our strong safety is back here in a 2 deep look. He is your primary support man. Our wide corner, he's lined up in a 2 deep look. And our basic alignment versus a pro set, regardless for any of these coverages I'm going to give you, is that the base would be 7. He would be 7, no deeper than 8. And again, we give them the freedom to press and bail anytime they want to, unless it's a end of the game type situation. Our strong safety is going to split the difference between 1 and 2. He's never outside the hash. And then our free safety, if the ball's on the hash, he'll always be on the hash. If the ball's in the middle of the field, now he's going to move to a point where he splits the difference between the tackle and split receiver. So we're in a 2-deep look. This man here has the deep third. The outside linebacker is rushing. So the front we're going to play with that is either slant and slant defense. We're going to angle the defense away from the wolf. So if we call slant, or we can play straight. But if we slanted the defense, get a veer tackle here, angle the nose guard, the tackle comes off. So the outside backer to the boundary isn't off. Now, this linebacker is playing just like he would if it were just your basic free deep zone, except he's not lined up there and he doesn't have to backpedal and work back into the curl. He is already in the curl. Now, if we want to, obviously, if you're playing an option team, or if you're playing a team that runs the sweep and gets to the perimeter in a hurry, this guy back here is not in a good run support position. But if we want to play this same coverage, we will start out here and walk him up before the ball snaps. But if you're playing an option team where you're getting an arc block, I mean, that's not a good deep coverage because this guy's got too far to come. But if you're in a passing down, you want to be 3 deep. If it's a the tight end curl, all that, I-back passing, this guy is a good position, and he's also in a position here to help you on the run. So his read is the same as if he lined up here in a pre-rotated position.
How deep do you say you want to?
He is 10 to 12 yards deep, depending on his abilities. Now, again, because when that quarterback looks out there and looks at our coverage and our front, he's going to see a balanced defense. He's going to see a 2-deep secondary look. And we're going to play a lot of 2 deep out of that. But, the majority of the times, I mentioned, 60% of the time we'll be 3 deep. So he's up in there, he's playing just like he would 3 deep. He's got to hold the curl. The big thing, again, I think is important. I don't think you can let him in an odd front run the ball in the middle. I don't think you can allow him to run the ball inside and have a successful defense. I think the same thing holds true for the passing game. I think it's important to make them. Now in 4 deep, in 3 deep, 4 underneath zone coverage, we all know you're a man short. You only got 4 guys for 5 zones. And so the thing that you want to make them do is throw the ball outside. You want to make them throw them, you want to take away their ability to throw the ball in this area. Now you make them throw the ball up in here, on the delays, or out here. But you don't want them to throw the ball over the middle unless it's the delays. So you force them to make the tougher throw, which is out here. Our wide halfback's a deep third. He's hooked to curl. This linebacker is your normal 3 deep look. The key is this receiver comes out of here. He's always got to be able to match 3. He wants to know what that third receiver is doing. I think your linebackers have to be able to count. For example, if that back is going here, then these 2 linebackers are dropping. They got 4 guys over here. So those linebacker drops should be in a position where you can get offside help because they got 4 guys over here now. Now as one guy comes back in here, now you hold. But this outside linebacker, as he starts to drop, if that back goes away, then he's back in here. If this guy comes out on the flat, now you're back into a pattern recognition on number 2. But the key is to be able to count and know where they're deploying their receivers. Just like if this back came weak, and you got what we call a web, three weak here, this linebacker should be working back in here. Your strong safeties, you draw this up for what I'm talking about. This strong safety in both coverage here, if you were to get this guy coming here and he's out, that linebacker, that tight end in here, that wolf, he does not want to expand. He'll give up, he'll break on the outcut. But when that tight end is here and he's away, this guy's back in here. It's the same thing for this guy here. If he goes away, it's a split back. Now he's back here, we'll give up the out. And our corner's got to be able to drive. The thing that you got to ask those corners to do is this. You got to do one thing. You got to defend the deep pass, break on the comebacks and the outs, and don't let the receiver turn up the field. As they turn up to catch the ball, turn up the field, they got to make the hit. The worst thing that happens to you is if these corners are so soft, and you know, it's easy to become satisfied with a defensive back when you say, hey, just don't get beat deep. Well, man, the guy has got to be able to make plays where you're weak, where you're forcing the ball. So if you're forcing the ball to be thrown out here, he's got to be a good technique guy to be able, because this is what happens. If he follows that route, he does that. Or if he rounds it as he comes out of his back pedal, everything's a proper angle. Because if he does that, that guy's going to catch the ball and be in a position to turn up. And that's how zone coverages you get bled. This guy's got to back out of there. If you're going to turn him and run him, whatever, he's got to come back, make the tackle before he turns up. If he turns up on that corner, you've got a good athlete in a position where you're one-on-one. Because that's going to take these guys, they're going to get there, but if he turns up before, if he in a position to make that tackle when he turns up, you got the potential of a big play. Now, the question is, and this is where, you know, I talked about this morning, keeping the ball inside the defense. If that man comes down and catches that ball, that corner drives, man, he can't let that ball go up that sideline. If he's, and we talk a lot at Michigan about proper shoulder tackle. Where are you going to miss the tackle? That's as important. They're going to miss tackles. We're all going to miss tackles. That's part of the game. The key is to know where to miss the tackle. One of the best drills we have is simply, the coach stands here, we put a receiver right here, and we do this with our inside linebackers and our outside. I think Artie Gigatino is going to talk some linebacker drill. But what we just, these guys take a step back, we throw him the ball. This guy's job is to make them try to get outside or split the crease or come back inside. Hey, we want that ball tackled with him inside us. This guy has got to learn, in this instance, if he misses that tackle, he's going to miss it with his left shoulder. He's going to miss it so that the ball stays back inside to this guy. And you know, and then what we work that drill with the idea of making the hit, and the second guy is coming in there, we're trying to strip the ball. We do not take that guy to the ground. Now we're going to hit him and we're going to aggressively tackle him high. We're not going to knock him to the ground. It's a controlled drill. But you're getting two things done. You're teaching them how to, if a guy gets there and he's wrapped up, you're trying to knock the ball out, and you're teaching proper shoulder technique. So if you get two linebackers, you want the ball missed back to the other linebacker. Proper shoulders. Keep the ball inside in front of the defense. Now, we're in a twin set. They come out in twins. Now, remember what I told you when you play angle defense. If you play angle defense, A meaning automatic, and you're going to automatic the angle to the tight end side, you also have to be able, because you don't know which way you're going to angle it, you've got to be able to play check coverages. For example, you can play angle, and then you play cover 3 if it's tight backside, if you get a twin set, or you play 2 versus a pro set. Because when you angle that front to be coordinated, you know, you need to play check coverages. So we'll have the ability here, if we want to the split inside to keep him on the line, we would move him in, move up, play either what we call solid coverage or tough if we want to be too deep. But if we want to maintain a too deep look, if it's a passing down, we'll put our outside linebacker up here, and his base alignment, depending on split, is 5 yards off the receiver, 1 yard inside, so that we look like we're in a too deep coverage. If we were playing too deep zone here, this outside linebacker is going to funnel, reroute, and he's got the seam area. Okay? Now, so when that quarterback looks out here, and when this tackle looks out here and sees him. If he's not well coached, this is what happens. We've had a lot of cases where this tackle thinks that that guy is coming outside, has got a contained rush, when in fact he doesn't, because remember, he's in a strong zone. He is rushing. He's out there, and they may think he's dropping, but he is coming. And this tackle may take a step up the field, but he has an inside rush. And we have had some success in pass rush there, because that offensive line coach said, now, hey, that guy's out there, this guy's probably got an outside rush, when in fact he doesn't. And again, you can play the same thing. Now, if you're slanting the defense here, he's got to be ready to become hard there. You want to give them, the key is to move this guy around. So you don't always want to be out there split out there 7, 8 yards. You want to put him in a gray area. What you want to work for with this guy is to get him into the gray area. In other words, the quarterback is not sure if he's coming or if he's dropping. Now, he can't be, when you're bringing him, he can't be cheated in here and playing 3 and 3 on the tackle, because now they know what you're doing. They know you're not too deep. So again, the alignment of the skies package is the same. So this guy is going to rush. Now you got the same thing here. He's going to reroute the seam and drive on one. Now your linebacker's got to get hook to curl. If you got split backs, he again has got to know what number 3 is doing. Now, and when you get into this set here, to the back side now, what I think is important is this. This guy has the deep third. Your safety is working to the middle third. We are in, because this guy has the deep third here, we are in what we call backer support. The outside linebacker is responsible for the pitch on option if the tight end arcs. And if they get the sweep, he wants to be up the field here, and we're going to play him inside. In other words, so we're in backer support. Now, if we will have the ability as a change-up to roll this guy hard on hard action and make him primary, but our basic way of doing it is this guy's in primary support. Now, the problem with run back here is if this corner, and I think you secondary guys always, this guy, man, has nowhere to go. So what we're going to do on the snap of the football, our corner is going to walk back. He's going to walk back. Now, he's a tight end there. Now, unless that tight end runs 4-5, hey, he should have, that's a piece of cake. And so if that tight end blocks, hey, we're going to hold and be ready to help in the run. Hey, you do not want this guy. He says, hey, you get to the deep third. So the guy backpedals out of here. This guy's blocking, and they're running the ball in it. If that man is blocking, now he's going to be in a position to help on the run to the tight end side. So you don't want him back here defending air. And I think that's a mistake that is made quite frequently. This guy thinks because he's got the deep third. Well, if there's no threat, it's just like over here to this side. If you're to the pro set and that guy runs that smash route right now, that corner wants to settle and find the next threat. If there's no threat, now, he's not going anywhere. You don't want to defend air, okay? Now, so that's up now versus a one-back set. Now we look just like cover 2 again. This guy's got the deep third. Now, this strong safety here, this box, again, is going to rush. So we adjust to the one-back set. We look just like we're in cover 2. We may be in cover 2, where he's playing. Okay? But in this bolt coverage, this guy's going to rush. He's rerouting here and coming here. We've got to get him out here. Okay? Back on the weak side now. We're coming out. Matching the pattern. We want to know what this guy's doing. Break on 3. This guy's got, he can press, roll out, safety deep middle. Now we got to keep this guy out of the seam area here. The thing you have to do, I think, in 3 deep coverage, just as you do in 2 deep coverage, you cannot allow guys to run down through the middle of your defense. You know, the first route, I think, first thing that you want to start out with, you know, you're getting, whether it's one back or whether it's a pro set, whatever it is, you know, when they're doing this to you, or they're out here in a twin set, trips or whatever, you have got, men, to get these guys here, whether you're 2 or 3 deep, because when they run that when they get that safety, they're getting here. They're getting 4 guys deep, whatever you're getting over here. If you allow these guys to run down through the middle of your defense, you have no defense. So this linebacker here in this case, he's got to get on top. Now that guy wants to run around him, and I think what you have to do is you got to define what you call that seam area. You got to get this guy, reroute him out of the seam area, because if you allow him to run here, twice this year in our Indiana game, got a linebacker here that sat down right there. He got pretty good depth, sat down. The guy ran right here, caught the ball in there for 18, 20 yards. Those are big plays. And you're going to play zone whether you're playing 4 deep or 500. You've got to make them throw the ball here and break them. But you can't be sitting guys down here and letting them throw the ball down the middle line, because those are just too big of plays to give up. Now that's cloud, or that's bolt. Okay? Okay, now, we're still in a strong zone now. So, now we call the word cloud. Don't ask me how we got bolt. There's nut. Coach Mold. There's some famous names here. But we're still in a strong zone, so we can be playing, our front can be playing straight, or we would call it with a slant cloud. So the coverage now is this. Now let's say that the thing that you have in bolt, you don't have quite as good run support back here, and you're giving up the out cut. So now on the snap of the ball, we look exactly like we did. Now, if it's run this way, that corner is screaming down in there. Constricting the run, he's primary support. He has the pitch on the option. The outside backer's coming, he's got the quarterback. And now, as this guy now is going to the deep third. And what he wants to do is he comes out of there. If he gets a pitch, if you were head eye backs and he pitches the ball, now he is looking in at the ball. As he starts to work over the top, and a lot of times if we're playing a drop-back passing team, we're going to backpedal 2 steps, give that quarterback a 2 deep look, and now we'll work off to our deep area. But if he gets run at him, his next progression is to go to the flanker. If that flanker blocks, now he comes right here and stacks, and in a position that if the ball cuts back, he can help. If they should, we don't want him to get pinned in here, but if he should get pinned, this guy stacks, and now he's in a position, your stack guy, your secondary support guy, to work either way to the ball. Now, if this man releases, he's your secondary support guy, he's got the halfback pass. And you got to put that in. If you're going to give up, if you're going to prevent big plays, you better have a support package that allows you to take care of the play and the play pass, play action pass. Because this guy better understand one thing. Hey, he's got the deep third. He's got the third. So that ball starts that way, he better do one thing. He better make sure that he has taken care of his position. It's a team defense, man. You can't have this guy running up in there and they throw the halfback pass to his head. Now, how do you get good at defending the halfback pass? You throw it once a week in practice. And the first 3 times you throw it, it's a touchdown. You know what? Pretty soon that guy learns. And now he's back there. And they may only throw it once a season. But it may be in the biggest game of the year, that guy stays home and intercepts the ball, or they don't throw it, you tackle the guy for a loss, and it wins the game for you. But it's the same thing with reverses and reverse passes. You have got to be able to stay chances if you're not going to rotate properly. Because that's the whole purpose of playing that scheme. So that you rotate, you don't give up big plays. Now you force them. This is one thing I should have put on that sheet I gave you first thing this morning. Then, as that ball gets closer to the goal line, that field shrinks. When that field shrinks, there's less room to run, there's less room to throw, because it's more congested, and it's much more difficult. And so, when you play zone and you play seven-man front up in there, you're going to have some chances where the ball gets down in there. And now that's the other type of thing in terms of sudden change. Hey, they're going to get the ball down in there. You got to prepare those guys, and it's going to happen. Hey, they're going to get the ball inside the 20-yard line. They're going to, in the course of a season, we're going to be down there a lot. And when they get it down there, we're going to come out of there with 3 points. Or we're going to get good, we're going to work hard, we're going to block some field goals. But the key is they got to know they're going to be down there, and they got to have confidence that they're going to get them stopped. And when they come off that field after they've given up 3 points, that's a good job. You're not on their ass because hey, that's a success. You coach them that way. But we're not going to give up those big plays that destroy the morale of a defense, and now you don't know what's going to happen. Now, you're not going to let that ball go on deep plays. So that the momentum of the game, now you stop them, you hold them to 3. Now the more they're on the field, the more you know what they're going to do. And the other thing we tell our guys every game, hey, if they don't do something new for you, every game, they don't respect you. So we're going to have to go in there and make some adjustments. They're going to give us a new formation. Hey, good. Now, they come off after the first drive. You say, look, this is what they're doing new. Now, they're not going to change completely, but they're going to give you different wrinkles. Mentally, you got to prepare them that that's going to happen. That's just the way football's played. They don't change. Hell, you're going to beat them. So they're going to give you some new things. Now, when you go to Twins, the box out there, it's the same thing. Now, this is at times, if it's a split back type of passing game, can be a problem. What's going to happen now is this guy. Now, let me make this point though. Versus a pro set. Now, in 2 deep coverage, you know you're trying to deny the outside release, or you've got to get them jammed. You got to get them rerouted, and you've got to do a good job preventing that type of free outside release. When you're playing cloud coverage now, we line these guys up, head up. And then if it's too deep, we'll step to the outside on the snap. But we want to be head up. Now, we get past here. This man now, and I think the best word to use, is we want to deny the inside release. We want to deny the inside release. Now, for example, this linebacker here, if he gets this, he's occupied with the hook. So if you're getting a flood pass, if this guy plays outside here and lets that guy down in there, in the curl, this guy's working over the top, you got a hole in here. What you want to do, again, where are you going to make them throw the ball? So this halfback, he's in cloud. That guy starts down inside. Hey, I want to wall him down. He wants to go outside. Hey, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to sink back a little bit. But now I'm looking for the second receiver. Because I've taken away the outcut by my alignment. By the fact that on the snap of the ball, I'm sitting in there. That quarterback's not going to throw the outcut. Unless you come racing in here and now you create a big crease between the underneath. But as you sit down here, if he wants to take that inside release, you knock him and ride him down in there until you feel number 2. If that tight end's staying inside, okay, you're squeezing the curl with his body. You're squeezing him, knocking him down in here. Now you're ready to come off on free. But see, that gives that quarterback, he looks out there, he may think too deep. That receiver comes off the ball. He sees you sit down. He's got to read. He got to know what that strong safety's doing before he knows whether it's 2 or 3 deep. He knows it's 3 deep. He thinks it's 2 deep, okay? that normally the inside release is easy for him. Is it not? I mean, it's easier than the outside release. But now all of a sudden he comes down, he thinks you're sitting down, he thinks it's too deep. Now he starts inside and you knock him down in there. He is rerouted, the pattern is destroyed. So he has to learn that, hey, you're going to play free deep, he's got to come off now. And you also can do it from a press alignment. Now your press, he starts inside, you drive him down in there. If you get beat outside, it's not a big thing like it is in too deep coverage. Why? Where's your help? Defense is knowing where my help is. That guy's coming right over the top in 3 deep coverage. If they want to throw if they read it as too deep and throw the fade, that guy should come off and kill him. That's why as he comes out of there, as he's working to his 2 deep, as his 3 deep zone, his eyes are on the ball as long as it's passed. He knows where he's going. Now if it's run at him, now he's got to pick up the outside guy. Okay? Okay, now, versus twins, we're here, we're coming. Now, if it's a split back team, one of the things that we may make is a call, okay, so he's going here. Again, he can let this outside guy go. He wants to widen with him, but now he's looking for 2. Because why? Because he's got this guy over the top. Now, the danger in coming here, and this is it's still a decent change-up, but the problem now is if you get this guy going, this guy's got a long way to go to get to the curl. So when you cloud, you're pretty good position here, but you've got a long way to go for this linebacker. So one of the things that we'll do at times now is that if we get this set, and we don't want to bring this guy, we'll bring that linebacker up in there and bring him, and now drop here. So now on that read route, he becomes your curl player, and because he's already out there. Okay, but if you're still in decent, you're uncoordinated a little bit from the standpoint that you've got too much separation in this set when you come from here. Or the other thing you can do is say, okay, when they give us a twin set, we want to go back and play bolt, depending on what they're doing to you. Okay? Now, versus the 1 back. So back on the back side, we're the same as bolt. Now, versus 1 back, same thing. He's out here now if this is a 1 back that's a passing attack, one of the things that we're probably going to do more than anything else is we're going to bring him, and now he's going to take the flat, or the curl, he takes the flat, and we're here. We're off here. So, from here, there's a drop back passing attack, that guy gets too far to go. Plus, the thing they do, it's the same old story. Now you allow that guy to run down that field in that seam area, and a good quarterback is going to get you in there. Okay? So you got to be ready to make some adjustments there. Now, we call invert. Now this is a weak zone. So now we're still in every one of these coverages, we are aligned exactly the same. Now the difference is we are going, if we're going to angle the front, we're going to angle to the field. Because we know, and now this outside linebacker from the boundary is rushing. And so their protection schemes have got to be able to handle both those. And now this outside linebacker in the field is going to come off. He is your drop backer. This is your contained tackle. Looping, and if you're playing straight, it's the same. He's going to rush up the field, contain. He's still coming off. Now, versus a 1 back, depending, again, I told you about our tackles. Depending on the kind of offensive running game they have, we may or may not loop that tackle. Depending, it's the same thing with our outside linebacker. If they're a big sweep team, then we'll take him and loop him up the field, force the ball to cut back. If it's an off tackle play or team, or if it's more of a passing, split back passing tack, we will not loop this guy. That is a game-to-game deal. So now as he loops, he's off. He's got the flat. Okay? Now, this guy here could be pressed, but he now is going to take the deep outside third. Our strong safety is going to work back to the middle. Now, if we were playing an option team, okay, out of this same scheme here, we would play, instead of invert, which is this invert is a predetermined rotation week. Now, if we're getting an option team, we're not going to play a lot of this without the ability that if this guy blocks or if you get run this way, we want to be able to come back and play what we call cowboy coverage, which is quarter, quarter, half. So we'll play that coverage out of this look. But I'm talking now about a predetermined rotation. But we'll play that coverage if you're getting a lot of. Now, if you're just going to play predetermined weak roll, we are going to angle that deep. We're not going to play it with a straight defense. Now, we may or may not, as I mentioned, loop the tackle to Fox, but we are going to move that defense that way if we're going to roll our coverage weak and predetermined. Now, if we have this guy involved, which is your quarter, quarter, half, now we don't have to angle. All right? But this guy now is predetermined. So he is in the deep 1/3. Now, invert means where weak roll, the safety is sitting in the curl. Now, if the ball's on the hash mark, that safety is going to sit right in the curl area. If it's drop back pass, now this guy's coming. If we get flow pass, that Mike linebacker's got to be able to pick up the tight end, but if it's drop back pass, this linebacker takes the flat. He replaces here. He's got the middle third. This corner works to the deep third. So it's a predetermined weak roll. Now, this defense is excellent from the standpoint that if it's an I-back team, and you know, you can, this is the beauty of this secondary coverage. If you're in a weak roll here, or a strong roll, regardless, you can have a check here so that if you want corner force against a certain backfield set, the only two guys it affects is here, so you tell him, okay, and I'll get to that in a minute, that's reverse coverage. But let's say we had this guy work into the deep outside third. Against a certain backfield set, we may want to play invert. So we just say, hey, against this backfield set, we want to check it. So you have a lot of flexibility. So he's taken here, he's taken the curl, and now these guys have their 3 deep drops. Okay? Versus a twin set now. This guy's got the deep outside third, he's the middle third. Now, this guy wants to reroute the seam. So if he gets a vertic man, you never, in my opinion, whether this is, so if you're going to play this, you've got to have two outside linebackers that can drop. If you don't, then you're missing the biggest flexibility part of the thing. Now, you never want this guy, as soon as, let's say it's drop back pass, for that guy to run down there and let that guy run straight up the field. You want to reroute him in the seam area, and now as he reroutes, what's this guy doing? Okay, what's he doing? He's going on deep, now he wants to be able to get out of here. He's coming under, now he wants to come under control. But you know, you got to protect that seam area, because if they drive that guy deep, and you let him come here, now before that line, you get a big hole in there with this guy working in the middle. There's the hole. Reroute him out of the seam area. Now, we've got invert coverage. You can do this one of two ways. Now here, remember I told you when we're in bolt, they're thinking that guy is, and in this defense, it's a monster. So we're angling, he's looping, he's containing. He'll protect you out there. If it is run to the split inside, a lot of times, that ball should have to cut back. So your outside backer, he's going to fall off inside here. If it's a perimeter play, obviously he's got to come up here and he becomes your pitch player. Okay? He becomes, if it's option football, now your outside linebacker's got the pitch. Tackle's looping, he's got the quarterback. Okay? Now you get back into your running game. Can you loop the tackle or not? That's your question. Now, on the weak side, this guy is rushing. Now, in most cases here, now you got the same thing. This tackle here, a lot of times thinks that guy's dropping. He looks back and sees that cornerback there. He thinks this guy's dropping. Now, so he sets this tackle now as an inside rush. And man, that's a big advantage, all right? Because now that outside linebacker from the boundary is coming to the tight end side. Now, versus run, what we'll normally do is we would go back to a corner support if it's tight back here. Because if you don't, you're going to back him out to the deep third. They're running the ball here. This guy's supporting now. Against certain teams, it's a good change-up. But basic adjustment, we would say, okay, if it's tight backside, now you go ahead, your support, and I'll come over the top, and we'll be in what we call reverse coverage. All right, the other thing that we have done in the past, and really kind of the way we play it now, corner's here, safety's here. If that flow, if the flow comes here, he's primary. Because on pass, okay, if that float comes here, he's coming. The thing you want to do with him, you want to shuffle him. Now look, if there were and I'll get to this coverage in a minute, but if we were playing this guy as a deep third player, if this is a split end out there, he's got to come off with some depth and with some width, and he's got to come off right now. But if it's tight here, his rotation, he should be shuffling. He should be shuffling. Because if the ball's right in here, he wants to be able to come up in there and support. He does not want to run out of here. Okay? Because this guy should turn the ball back. And now if you run this guy and the ball hits a crease, so he wants to shuffle over, be under control. Now, if the flow goes that way, and we're talking about if we've called invert coverage, if the flow goes this way, now he just rolls back out and takes the deep third, which he could do easily versus tight inside. Now, that guy becomes your cutback player on play away. So, let me just show you this so that if there's any confusion, you understand what we're talking about here. Versus the running game, you're in bolt here. Go back to bolt. They run that ball here, or they run that ball in the off tackle area, man, that guy's in a position to be a big factor for you. It's the same thing if you're an invert with your safety. So that's the way you can get to your 8-man front. So now if you want to play invert, they're running that ball in here, man. This guy, you can fast flow that linebacker, or if you want to make this guy, you cut slow flow him, play him. But that's the way in bolt and invert versus that pro set. You can get that 8-man into your running down game, and you're still sound from a coverage standpoint. But that's the bonus guy. Okay, here he's the bonus guy in invert. Now, we're in a weak roll now. We're in a weak roll now, except we're corner force. Okay? Now, when we're in a strong zone with corner force over here in cloud, remember we told you we want to disrupt and destroy the inside release. We want to deny the inside release, make him take the outside release because that guy's coming deep. Now, in invert, you know the Wolf's got the middle third, the halfback's got the deep third. Now, this guy is going to take the flat, predetermined. This safety now with a split end here is going to work off the hash, and at times, if we're playing a drop back passing team, we'll back him out 2 or 3 steps and work into the deep third safety. Now, you probably don't, you may or may not get that, but if that guy backs out of there, that quarterback now, he's still got to hang with it a little bit longer to know whether it's 2 deep or 3 deep. He takes the deep third. This guy is just like him over here in Clown. He denies the inside release. That guy wants to go down inside, squeeze, and find number 2. If he goes outside, I can widen, but I do not have to jam him. So, if this guy right here, come on up here, Joe. If the ball's in here, now we're kind of screwed up here because we're too tight. But I'm playing reverse coverage. If that guy goes down inside, I'm going to ride him down in. I'm going to jam him. I'm going to knock him to the ground if I can. I'm going to be physical. I'm going to pick up number 2, whether it be as the tight end coming with a flow pass or split back coming. Now, if this guy goes outside, hey, I'm going to sink back with him, but I don't care if he runs. I don't care because I got that safety coming right over the top 3 deep. And if they read that as 2 deep and throw that seam area, that safety now is just like that wolf and cloud. That safety comes out there, his eyes are on the quarterback. That quarterback tries to throw. If he reads that as fade, that guy now doesn't have to hold on the hash like he would 2 deep to protect the tight end down the middle. Hey, he knows he can go. And he better go get it, go through the face of it, knock the ball loose. Okay? If it's run now, that corner, depending on the split, he becomes your pitch player. If he can beat the stalk block inside and come back outside, contain the ball, fine. He's got the pitch on all options. In option football, he's going to understand one thing. If it's passed, basically, the guy has to block him. If he's getting the option, ball on the line at him, and that guy's avoiding him outside, he wants to be ready to sink back and play the pass. But he's got the freedom of not having to jam. If you're playing 2 deep coverage here now, and you miss that jam, the safety's hanging on that hash, now you're giving up a big play. Okay? You guys coming down in here, and you got some stunts if you want to fill and do some of that. But again, you're in a monster defense because you're rolling the coverage weak. Now, if they're in a twin set, you're back to the same thing. Basically, what we would do is either make a flow call and read the flow of the backs, or we would say, okay, we're going to be in reverse coverage. Now, we're in reverse coverage. It's predetermined. He goes here. Now, he's got the flat. He's got the deep third. Okay? Now, versus a 1-back set, again, deny the inside release. Jam him down in there. He goes outside. He can go. He's coming. Tight end now. The ball's in the middle of the field. He's got to reroute the seam area. Over here. Okay? Reverse coverage. Reroute the seam area. He's here. He's coming out of here. And then your linebacker is normal. All right. Now, those are our basic 3 deep, 4 underneath. Now, I'll just show you a couple ideas. How much time do I have? That's it? Hi. Yes, sir.
How does motion change the strength of the offensive spectrum? Some of the things you can talk about that?
I can ask some questions for you. Again, if we'll play check coverages with angle defense, play 3 deep coverage where we would check versus a twin set. Like, for example, we would call angle 3, check 2, okay? So if they came out, now in the huddle, ball's on the hash mark. We call angle 70 what? Boom! Why? Where am I guessing the tight end's going to be to the field, right? All right, so he's got to learn now. You know what the hard part is? He's got his back. As he addresses the huddle, as this linebacker here addresses the huddle, here's his team, and the ball's back here behind him. Okay, so that may be the hash mark. So he's got, one of the confusing parts of it is he's got to visualize the fact that you know, the thing is turned around on him, okay? If you don't know what I mean there, put yourself where you turn your back to the line of scrimmage and call it, okay? But right here, he should have called angle, free check 2, 72. Angle 72, free check 2, okay, the coverage. Now, so we come up here, and that tight end's into the boundary. So he has got to use a word, whatever word it may be for you, okay? But it's got to mean maybe a word that starts with C, because we're going to change the line direction. Change it, change it. You can use the word change. Change, change. Now, that nose guard, he may not know where the tight end is, but he ought to be coached, hey, look, you better know where the tight end is in angle defense. That's simple, all right? But he may look up, he says, hey, where's the line direction going? And that guy better say, Louie, or tell him, hey, you're going left, 73. You know, but you don't want to be screaming out because you're going to tell those guys up front what's going on. Now, when you played that, you're going to angle here. Now, when you do that, we want to play just solid coverage, playing 2 coverages. So now we're coordinated. We're angling that way. So let me give you this as an example. In terms of motion with 2 backs in the backfield, there's 1,000. If they put the formation into the boundary here, okay, now we're on the defensive left hash here, right? So we're going to, versus this, we're going to play cover 2. Okay? This guy's off. Now we're, you know, this guy's rushing. Wolf's, he's here. We're playing this half. We're playing that because there's strength into the boundary. We're going to angle that way. Now, so we've had to chop the angle, but the safety, he looks in here, he sees a tight end, the flanker, he knows it's cover 2. Okay, or he sees any kind of a detachment, he knows it's cover 2. All right, now, so we're in cover 2, right? He motions across. Now it's tight backside. We don't have to do anything with our angle once they set the tight end. So now we're moving the defense this way. He's coming. Now the Wolf moves up, and we play cover 3. So that's a basic fundamental check of how we would handle that motion. Now, if they put the formation, let's say they gave us this. Okay? And they're doing this to run the ball, all right? So the corner's here. Now the safety sees a tight end. There's no detachment. Okay? And what you want to do is work on these checks before you ever get, you know, but you got to, if you don't have time to do it before fall ball starts, then you got to spend your days in shorts with these kind of adjustments. That safety, every secondary guy better be looking to this guy when you're playing a check package. The safety looks back here, he sees a tight backside, he says, cover 3, cover 3. The Wolf moves up, that tells the Fox he's rushing. All right? So we're playing cover 3, normal 3 deep, and we're angling back. Now, if this guy goes in motion, you see, now we got to go to cover 2. We got it? So now, he moves out. He just steps back here. We roll up. So, if you're going to play check defenses, check fronts, in terms you're going to angle it, you got to do a different thing. Just let me show you a couple of other things. I want to throw in a film here. I only got a minute. Hey, we want to get a 3-man rush, or 8-man. Let's say they're running the flood strong. Okay? Now, we'll sit him in a curl. So it's like bolt to him, except now on the snap, if he's going to take the first man to the flat. So if that tight end runs the flat, he runs with him. He hangs in the curl. Now, he doesn't have to worry about being outflanked and holding the curl. He is holding the curl all the way. He comes out of here and takes this route. So now you got 1, 2, 3 droppers. Now, what you want to do is run some kind of a 3-man game take the deep third, this guy runs to the flat. This guy holds the curl, zip linebacker plays the hook. So if they're giving you the strong zone, you have a way of it, you know, you don't have the greatest of rushes, but you have the ability to match up with them. They're 3 on your 3. Back here, you're normal, you're playing 3 deep zone. We just call it a nut. Now, let's suppose you wanted to go weak. Let's suppose that they were giving you their biggest pass, you know, that let's say that when they get in this set, they're throwing the ball weak. So you get a lot of that set, and they're running a weak flood, or they're bringing a tight end. Okay, now we call 80, tells us a 3-man rush. We may call 80 reverse, or let's say it's 80, let's say 80 inverse. You can do it anything you want, depending on what their strength is. So 80 invert now, here's a Mike linebacker, the rover, the corner, and the safety. Over here, we're just playing 3 deep zone. Now, an 80 invert, that safety's sitting in the curl, sitting in the I route. This linebacker will go run to the out. This corner's got the deep third. Now, you tell this guy right here, he takes the first back out of the backfield. You can man up on him, okay? You can man up on him, or you can just zone it and sit him in here for any delay. So that guy goes on out there, he's working on 3. But the whole point is, now you have the ability in this defense, if they're hurting you with the flood passes, at least to match up to where you're 3 on 3. Okay? It's a 1-back set. We could go 80. Let's say that they had a great tight end going to the boundary. We go 80 reverse. He's here. He's going, but now he can sink back because he knows he's protected the flat. Guy works the deep third here. Now this rover is going to sit in here. If he goes to the flat, he takes him to the flat. If he goes up inside, he's right here. And now he sits back in here. They had an offset back, or if they're getting a flood here, you know, normally you'd probably want to do it to this side if that's where they're throwing the ball. They got a great tight end, though. It gives you the ability to bracket the tight end getaway route. You know, they come down, run into the linebacker, and he throws him the ball, and that guy's rushing. Now he sits right back. It gives you an ability to bracket the tight end. I want to show you, whatever time I got left for film on here, we're angling here to the tight end side. Here's a belly. I hope we get an end zone copy of it. Yeah, now we're angling, if you look at the picture to the left. Now there's a nose guard reading, the nose guard is reading or he's ripping. He's using a rip technique. We're looping our tackle. Our outside linebacker needs to get up in that hole a little bit more. But really, on this play, our front side, I don't have a thing here, but our front side linebacker, with a direct read like this fullback. Now here's the veer tackle, though, making the play on the backside. Watch the veer tackle. That's why this play's in here. See this guy right here? That's the veer tackle. Watch it. He's moving. Good play there. Our backside linebacker's a little soft. He's a little soft. He should have been up in there. Now here you see the 2 deep secondary look. We're in bolt here. Looks like. No, I'll tell you what we're in. We're in a weak roll, and this guy's reading the tight end. Okay? The same belly play, I think. Now watch the nose guard here. The center, the nose guard made the play. Watch the backs trip over the center's feet. That's the kind of penetration one. I don't know. It looks like it's see, this guy did not have the ability to step around. Now our rear tackle's getting down pretty good. Our backside linebacker, to me, is too soft. I say we're getting, and they're handling us out here, but that they want to cut the ball back. See, that belly play, as soon as that nose guard angles, now let's see what the coverage is. Okay, now this is a box out here, so we're in a 2 deep look. That's that gray area. All right? Now watch our weak side corner here. Watch it. See, he's stepping back. He feels that tight end release. Okay, now here's the kind of penetration you want. Here's a loop tackle. See their backfield set? Man, they got no run over here. They have no run to the split inside with a fullback behind the quarterback and the back offset here. So we're going to angle to that. Now that may have been a defense where we're going to angle that way in that backfield set. We said, okay, we got a strong back set, we're going to angle that way. So we may call that the line, angle, or check with me, however you want to do it. Now we're in, what's this covered? All right, this looks like cloud coverage to me. Okay, it's hard to tell here, but it looks like this guy's backing out to play the third. The safety's going in the middle, so versus pass. Now, you can see it from the rear view, the end zone here. Oh, they didn't get that one. All right, now here's the isolation. Now here is that. Remember I told you about angling the nose guard and crossing the down block. Now, in our base defense, now what's this coverage here? Well, this is weak roll, but we're setting the safety down, so it's what we would call cowboy coverage, quarter, half. Now, but watch this nose guard from this angle. Normally, on a down block, he's got to stay inside. Because, okay, now watch him here. He's going to cross the face of the down block. It's an isolation play. Watch the center fall down here. Watch it. Now the backside linebacker is slow flow. We slowed him down. We slowed him down because we're in a stunt here. This is a stunt for us where he crosses the face. There's a loop. Now we're looping the outside linebacker too. So the ball's forced back inside. All right, well, watch this. Now let's see what this coverage is. This is 2 deep coverage. Okay? 2 deep zone. Now it's a tight angle. We don't have the end zone. Now here's the isolation. Okay, into a loop tackle. Now, our linebacker, he's got to be careful doing this. But watch the outside linebacker here. He looped, and he feels the tackle up the field. Both those guys feel that the ball's inside. They're trying to come back. And it's really those 2 guys that make the play. Now, the thing you'd like to do is get that inside linebacker up in that ball, up in that hole a little bit more. Now here's the nose guard doing this. Is a poor job by the nose guard. See him? He's working around that block. Now he's ripping here. But that may have been the same stunt. So I don't think it was. Yeah, it looks like he is crossing the face there. If you have any questions, just call them out. Now, we're in, so it looks like solid. See what happens. Now, the tight end's into the boundary. This is the outside. Now, this is where we're faking a blitz here with our strong safety. But we're angling to the tight end. Here's the isolation, cutting it back. Bled us a little bit in there. Now here's the, we're moving late. We bring this corner a lot. Here's a loop tackle doing a great job coming back. This is a draw play. This guy right here. Close down. Close back. See, he thinks he's going to be straight, and they're zoning it, and he comes right off the hip and makes the play. That's a great play by that that wall that you're talking about getting here. Now this backside linebacker is much better here. See him up in the line? At the end he gets washed a little bit. But his initial movement, see, is everybody's up in the line. It's a good job by the nose guard. He's using a rip technique. He uses the fullback. He uses the fullback. Now this loop tackle here gets tripped over the, and when he's looping now, that linebacker's got to get, that linebacker's pretty good. See the front side linebacker? His body's in the hole.
Coach, does down men have an 80 point?
They're angling to the gap. 40, they're taking a 45 lead step, but then they got to visually key the linemen that they're angling to. Now here is a good job, decent job by the veer tackle on the backside. He's ripping, he's coming on down in there. Eventually, see, as he angles, as he veers down in here, he feels the guard come off. He knows it's play away. He's got to rip and keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Now this outside linebacker, right here, unless we got a stunt, we want him to shuffle down. Now, man, this is a key point here. If you run this guy, they'll boot back. And that man he's going to be able to help you with a cutback here. The quarterback boots back. Now, he's got to contain the ball. Now, here's motion. Now, technically, most of the time we would have, because we want to maintain our two deep look, we would motion this, we'd step this outside linebacker just so that quarterback would think. But in this game, they had eye backs, they were doing it for support, so we just left them in there. Now, what is this defense? This is, we're angling to the boundary here. Now, this is a great picture of the middle guard beating the pick. Now, let's watch the backside linebacker here. All right. Beautiful job. Watch the left linebacker here. He steps up. See the center? He comes right underneath. I hope we got this from an end zone copy. We should. It'll give you a great picture of, watch the linebacker here being picked. Now it's the only guy who can pick him. He's a force linebacker. He's got the angle coming to him. Now watch him right here. Because he's stepping up. This is Eric Anderson, the kid that won the Butkus Award, the best linebacker in the country. Now to this side, the guy that makes the play, watch the nose guard. The nose guard, now he's in a rip technique, but watch him redirect. See? And that's, and you're much quicker if you use the step around technique. Now watch the veer tackle fight. He steps down, he feels the guard scoop, pick, he's trying to fight back outside. There's a linebacker now, the front side linebacker. He is a scrape linebacker. Right? Watch him beat the tackle pick. See how he comes underneath it? There was a guy between breaks, one of the coaches was talking about why you see him come right underneath it. See, this tackle is coming off wide with the idea that tackle's going to play wide. See him? Now that linebacker scrapes tight, comes right up underneath it, man, he's unblocked. You got two linebackers there who are unblocked. That's what you're trying to, you're not going to get that all the time. But if you give one of them, you got a chance. Bob, you just tell me when I'm done.
You've got 5 minutes.
Okay. Now I don't know. This is cloud coverage here. It's like we're coming out. A fumble there. I don't know what happened there. See which way we're angling. All right, now our tackle here. We would rather this not happen to us. See the front side guard? Our tackle ends up inside, but watch this is a great picture of this linebacker beating the tackle pick. It's the same play, I guess. No, it isn't. It's a different play. See this guy here? Now watch both linebackers beat the pick of the center and the front side tackle. That's what you're trying to get. Watch this loop tackle here of the boundary. All right, he loops on that first step, but he knows if he feels play away, he's coming back. Now he becomes your chase contained guy. He should not come off backside here. If it's pass, he's got to take. If it's a boot, he's got to take the quarterback. All right, now here we go. I don't know what's the deep, but here's the situation. Ball's in the middle of the field. So we would tell our guy to guess that the tight end's going to go to their right, our left. So if we were calling angle, D was called angle 73. Now, when he came off here, he's to our right. We got to say, chop, change the line direction, change. We're going to 72. Now he stems over. Hey, what is it? It's a 3. It's a 73, or it's a, now you got to tell them which way they're going, because by that time those linemen have heard 3 different things. You got to tell them, hey, we're going left, Louis, or whatever you're going to call. All right, here's the run at the straight linebacker. Now he gets blocked here. That tackle, watch the tackle here come off on the straight linebacker. Let's see what the veer tackle does. See, that veer tackle, he comes back outside. But on real tight splits, okay, you can't take his flat, he ends up his first, see his lead step? There is none. So his first step was with his outside foot. Now that guard gets outside. Now he redirects and comes back out and makes it. But you would rather have him stay outside that guard. Now let's say with a straight linebacker here, let's see what happens to him. He gets blocked by the tackle there. He's not scraping tight enough. Now, this is going to be a great picture of the linebacker beating the center pick. I'm going to show it to you from the end zone. It's a tight copy here. Stop it. Watch the center. Watch the center. See the center? He's coming off the block. See the linebacker? That's what you talk about working downhill. You can never get a prettier picture of a linebacker. See, that guy's coming off. He just, hey, right now he stops. Watch him. He stops. See him? Now he comes up. Man, he's free in the hole. He's free in the hole. It's a beautiful play. Now, they don't all happen that way. Now, watch the veer tackle here. Staying outside the guard. Good picture. See what nose guard. See, we had a nose guard at that point who could not step around. And I don't think you have as good a defense when you can't. All right, now, here's now, okay, now, you see this, watch the left linebacker here. He's going to end up coming over. See, now the center starts to wait on him. See how slow the center comes off here? Now he works around. That center does not have an easy job. Now, our nose guard here is either wrong or we got him going outside the down block, but he's too wide. Huh? Well, hey. Now, this guy's playing straight, I think. But you're right. Hey, Al just made a point, man. Do you ever have 2 guys going the wrong way? You're in trouble. Now, this is an example where not move on movement. Here's a case, see the tackle? Watch him. He doesn't, he picks that left foot up, puts it right down. He's too wide, his stance is bad. Our outside linebackers aren't very good. At this stage, we look a little tired. Now the middle guard makes a nice play here. He's ripping, keeps his feet, protects that leg. Listen, I do not like the backside linebacker. I think he's way too soft. That front side linebacker is pretty good. He's getting up in the line of scrimmage, protecting that big end. Okay. Man, I've enjoyed it. Appreciate your attention.